Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Mili reaction. Today we have the same song as last week, except, of course, the key ingredient version. A lot of people wanted me to hear this one, and since I have experience of other key ingredient songs already, I know that they can vary quite a bit. So when random dude threw in this comment, I was like, yeah, it makes sense. So I'm going to hear this, see what the differences are. Probably big ones given their musical prowess. And I guess without further ado, let's go!
It's like we're a bunch of lonely people.
That is
Testing the limit.
a severely different mood.
How much pain we can bear.
Jesus Christ, okay. All right, here we are.
Honestly, I don't know how I got so far. I did this to me. I did this to me. There is no one else to blame. I did it myself. I did this to me. I did this to me. I did this to
Yup.
me. I did this
Hell
to
yeah.
me. I wish it was your fault. I wish it was your fault. But how could it be?
I love this take on it.
I did this to me.
It adds to the drama even more. Like, it cranks the regret up so much higher.
Sometimes I can't move at all unless I'm certain that I'm following the right path, the right path.
The pressure in this arrangement, too.
In my dreams, you praised me and clapped. Then mommy said, it's alright, there's always next time. You did your best. It's like we're a bunch of lonely people.
This is like the variation that would be played
To see how much
in like a musical theater setting with how it's being performed.
and not too little.
Oh.
So the
Oh.
world feels much more familiar.
I loved that bend in her voice there. Oh, that was so cool.
And the only reason I could carry on is thanks to my imaginary children, grandchildren, singing in front of my 100th birthday cake, saying they're glad, saying they're proud of what I've accomplished in my time. It's all
There's so
but
much more exhaustion in this part.
it's all but a dream.
The heavy slog of this rhythm.
I did this to me. I did this to
God.
me. I did this to me.
They really do
There is
love.
No more mommy. There is no more daddy. I'll take it at all. Yeah, I'll take it at all. 'Cause I did this to me.
They really do add so much to the emotional toll that this song takes. It feels so much more personal this time around. Like, I mentioned how this sounds more like what would happen in a musical theater setting. That's just because of the performance. Mili's doing such a good job at rearranging the song to feel so much more like there's a weight behind it. Like now we're after the fact, and this is like a reprise of the situation. Like at first, that was just like the general information dump, you know? Now we're after whatever the scenario was. We are sitting there with that person on the mound of bodies, laying there in the bodies, just being present in this mindset, this state of mind of, I did this. This is my fault. And that's so fucking cool. Cassie's performance on this one absolutely added to that. Her voice is always great, but like the way that she would put that pain into certain phrases, and like that one part near the end there where she sounded like she scoffed almost. She was like, God, really? Like, I did this. Like, that's so fucking good. All right, so there's plenty of really cool things that this arrangement did. Obviously, I talked about a lot of the message stuff already in that last section, but there's still plenty more that the music does this time around that adds more body and more personality in addition to the performance. Cassie definitely outdid herself with the performance on this one. She really dug into some of those notes. She took performance literally. She was like, no, we're telling a story, goddammit. I'm going to be standing on this stage and singing this shit. I'm going to be putting actual emotion into it, not just the casual studio style emotion that a lot of musicians add to their music. There is always going to be an emotional tie in music. But when you actually take a song and you break it down like this, and you want it to sound like it is a completely different perspective, that's what this song did. That's why it felt so significantly, so profoundly unique to the original version. This song strips away everything, as all of the key ingredient versions do, and it added an entirely different layer to the emotional pressure that this song had. Like I said, it almost felt like a reprise, like you would have in musical theater. You would get that first main version that's like, oh, here's the overall story, but then you get the reprise that's usually after a major evolution in the story, usually some big emotional cathartic moment that changes the perspective of the song. Be it a song that's happy now being reprised as a sad song because the loss of somebody, or in this case, where it already sounded like they were kind of sitting with this kind of struggle in their mind, trying to figure out who they are and the why they are, to this point where they're now basically on their deathbed, wondering why the hell they never understood who they were or how to approach that, how to fix those issues. So we ended up hearing this song from a completely different point of their life. Like I mentioned, I felt like this sounded somewhere like in the early middle age, like maybe 30 to 40 range, but it didn't necessarily feel like the song was full of regret yet. Like there was still a little bit of time. They were definitely bummed about their life decisions, but not necessarily dejected yet. This is dejection. This is seeing your life completely in hindsight going, wow, how could I have fucked that up so bad? I have no time left, especially little characterizations like that ending where, again, Cassie just kind of scoffing at the thought of it, the concept of it all, just giving up and just going, wow, I am that much of a fucking moron, made it feel so much more personal. I adore this version. I like the original one. This one fucks. This version of the song is absolutely the best version of the song, in my opinion. But to move on from that, because I could go on for forever about that, the music, what made this one sound so different? A lot of it was in the arpeggiating, which we did have in the original, but it's just so much more obvious with just the piano playing. Lots of sweeps, just going up and down, having this turbulence in the story and in the emotion of the song, making the entire thing feel like it's trying to go somewhere and constantly gets pulled back. There's no set mood happening here. There's constant moments where it feels like there is almost a marching rhythmic sensation to it. Like there's this one spot in here that kind of goes, and it just does that a couple of times, and that is present a few times in the song, but it's usually nestled in with the other chords and everything going on, not necessarily on its own until that one part where like suddenly this pressure is so strong that it is becoming its own rigid personality in the track. Like that is them fully coming to terms with how fucking dumb they were in this story, and I love those little characterizing additions to this. This arrangement is so good for that. We had a bunch more of the emotional toll in this one, a lot more of the sweeping stuff, sure, that arpeggiating was helping with this, but a lot more of the focus on what chords were playing made the song specifically sadder in different parts. One of the main parts I really loved about the chord progression, this isn't necessarily a sad part, but it was the A flat, B flat, F minor, G, just that slight lift, and usually it would go to a G sus4, so we're sitting there on this tension, and I talk about sus4s a lot. Usually it would resolve into the G like that. So we go from, but we don't really get that in this one. It doesn't resolve into that G. It hangs on until we go back to the A flat. So what we're getting in this is this note here, the C being held on, and then it continues on into the following chord. So we are landing on this C. This song being, again, in C minor. They did not change that, which just goes to show you how much of a different song you can get from how you arrange the song. The last version of it was also in C minor, to my recollection, so this being so much more emotional adds so much more backing to that sentiment of how you can make something, regardless of the key, even if it's in the same key, feel so much heavier depending on how it's played and what's being played. So the reason that I love this is because you're getting that C, and that does hang, and then it would resolve into the A flat, which isn't really a resolution even, but it hangs on that note. It sits there too long, and it makes it just resonate all the more. This happens multiple times in this song, to the point where at the end we're getting this like going on in the background, just this back and forth between the octaves for the C, and that's just laying underneath the end of the song. But the way that this ends is so cool to me, because I'm pretty sure while this is happening, we suddenly get the ending chord, which is just the octaves, skipping an octave between there for these two, but then the middle full C minor triad there. So a really full sounding chord, very final on that low bass note there, but all C, you know? It's all C. If I just remove everything else, you could just have that, but I'm pretty sure they added those middle notes just to keep around that depressive tension all the way to the end. This is what makes me love this song. The rest of it had everything you expect. It had all the other chords that were in here, like I mentioned, basically everything. Of course, we had C minor in there, a little E flat in there. We had, I think we had D minor in there. Like, there was a lot going on in this one, but every single one had this disgusting tension. Sometimes a seventh in there to kind of lighten it up or take it back into the C. I don't know if we ever got an A minor in there, but that would have worked with the C, but not necessarily the C minor. So we might have gotten that, but that's a lot of tension there. So I don't think that happened, but God, this song just has so much personality to it. This added so much character to this story, and again, so much more emotional grievance to the general tale being told. So it really does feel like it's either later in life or right on the deathbed of this character, like they're recalling this moment, the decisions they've made, the stuff that we were experiencing in the last original version of Birthday Kid, and now we just have this holy shit, I have fucked up and there's nobody here to hug me, to save me. I have no grandchildren. I killed my parents. I am dead alone and nobody's here to grieve for me. That's what this version sounds like. It is a completely different variation of the original story, which does have that grievance, but not necessarily as fully realized as this one. This is definitely the culmination of years and years of recollection on that story, and this character just realizing how bad they screwed up. To me, that's what it feels like. So this one is phenomenal. Again, brilliant fucking version of the song. Like I said, I've heard a couple of their key ingredient versions, but this one takes the fucking cake for me so far. This is hands down the best key ingredient version of any song I've heard of theirs, albeit I've only heard a few, so I'm sure there's more I will hear in the future, but this for now sits firmly at number one. This is an absolutely breathtaking reimagining of that original song. But I think I'm done yapping about it, so thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to get to something else, by all means, drop in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to those. But if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!